Hi everyone, my name is Anne Marie Van. Today is Tuesday, December the 5th, and this is the Moneyball Morning Report for the Benzinga Pro platform. Let's see. Well, we can see that the edge that we have that triggered here gives us a ton of congestion looking here at SPY. If we take a look at the 4-hour, it gets a lot more granular because I have several alerts, and we can see that this morning, this is what we are coming into, this 455 area that's super important. Now, remember how we look at price action. Super simple. 3 candlesticks. The candlestick in motion, 2 candlesticks to the left. So here's what happens. Once we get underneath the 2 candles to the left, or even above the 2 candles to the left, we have to go to the candlesticks nearest the formation that have the same kind of pricing. And so it gives us this monster. And so our floor here currently is 454. Now we can see, and let me put this on an hourly because this makes for a little bit of a messy patch, right? When we take a look at the hourly, what we can see is that here we have some lows, and the price action is holding here in the volume profile at this area. So it's this 454.80, 455 that really should be burned into your brain because we've been talking about it for weeks, literally 1, 2, 3 weeks. This is the weekly candlestick formation. And it is the region that is a do or die. So now the question is, what are we looking at? Is this an area that's going to see more downside or more upside? And so you're going to love this. Yeah, I don't know. But here's what I do know. I do know the following. If I hold 455, I can say to myself, all right, if I've come down through this candlestick and I'm still determined to be making higher lows, and my ribbon inside, the green part here, my ribbon is still upside, and my Keltner, although a little bit, it's still also upside, I can say, you know what? I'm going to try along there. Now, here's what's coming out. In 30 minutes, we're going to have jobless claims. I don't know what they're going to say. I don't know how the market's going to react. So I would say be very, very careful and don't hold into the number, because if the number is bad news, people might take it as good news in terms of the Fed saying, yep, well, we definitely can't keep rates at this path. Or if it's good news, then people might respond and say, oh, this is good news. Or they would go, oh no, this is bad news. Maybe the Fed won't reduce rates. And listen, this is super important. The reason, and I'm going to put the word reason in quotations, the reason, quotations, that the market has had so much power. Indeed, I read just this morning from the Place Your Trades pre-market Shy Girl tab that I go to all the time. She said that it was the second biggest November in 40 years. Now, I thought it was the largest November on record, but it's the second largest relative to percentage moves, I believe. Okay, so in pure numbers, it's the biggest, clearly, but that's really neither here nor there. All right, that move was really on this notion that people are thinking that the Fed will have to cut rates in the first part of the year. We have no understanding of that. We have no idea whether that's going to give, take, do, whatever. We do not know. But people are trying to get in front of the move, and that's what is propelling it. We have to say, all right, let me trim the sails back here. What are we actually looking at? And the key event is, can we hold 455? If you hold 455, we'll go to 456.70, right back to the top of our candles here, or we stay lodged in this 456 area. All right, you can see traders battling back and forth. I would say, let's see what the job numbers come in at down here at 453.29. That's a great place to put your sniper scope out there and see if maybe you can pick a bottom and pop up from that formation. These are very nice supply zones where everyone has just lifted off of the rails right there. So that's supremely important. All right. So our numbers for today, 453.29. If for happenstance the selling gets more aggressive, 450.77, 451, somewhere around there, next line in the sand. You know that I suspect that if things are going to behave normally, we should have a pullback somewhere around here. And that is clearly quite a few points away. All right, heavy congestion brings us to the top of the flag area of prior heavy congestion, and then the price action can move forward if the chart holds steady. Pullbacks are still buy zones, everyone. They are still buy zones. All right, taking a look at the cues, it's been a bit of a beast. We are seeing some sector rotation well below our ledges here, which I find to be quite telling. Okay, so what would we normally do if we were looking at a formation like this? We would go, oh, I'm going to buy the dip at the top of the ribbon if the formation is very strong. And so we can see formation very strong, top of the ribbon. The bounce occurred 382.78. That's maybe down here at the top of, oopsie, me and my stinking fingers. All right, actually, I'm going to go ahead and delete that. Okay, so now we're looking at this. Look at how hard these guys are battling. Take a look. I mean, 1, 2, 3, this is the fourth week. It's a do or die here. It's the low of the 2 prior weeks and the close of this first week, and they are doing everything they can to hold that edge. What's the flip side of that? The flip side of that is that this 385-ish, what's this open? 386. This 386 area that we've got right here, I mean, that's the do or die, right? And look at how many times we touched it yesterday. We touched it once on the way up and it faded after hours. We have a gap down now. And so if we take a look at the 2 candlesticks to the left of us, we can clearly see if we lose 383, we are headed lower, right? So what do we want to do? Now, how do we know this? The 4-hour chart has a downward moving average. The Keltner band has a downward moving formation. And so this is telling us, listen, we have got some downward action here that is very likely to come into the area and test lower. Now, could you still pick a bottom? Absolutely. Why? Because this candlestick says, hey, I haven't lost this 383 edge, and I'm trying to recover. So if we look 2 candlesticks to the left, it's going to try and fill the gap in the early part of the morning. So we're going to look for this to register for us if the chart is going to fail to head lower, bounce into resistance. Here it is, fails to head lower, bounces into resistance, pulls back, and holds a higher low. This is the region that we would go, you know what? I'm going to try and go long here. And if it breaks this ledge, friends, that's when we go, you know, time to pump the brakes on this long. I think I'm going to get out of here, right? That's what we're going to do if we're thinking about long. But remember, I say the same thing over again. 1, fails to hold lower. There it is, big bounce. Tests resistance. There it is, hold support. Pulls back and holds a higher low. So if you're trading this formation on a 4-hour, you should already be long. And that is going to send us up into the 386 and then 387 if the buyers can gain control over the close of this week. It is a do or die for them. If we get to this area and all of a sudden we turn back and we lose that 385 zone, guess what? We're going to come back and test this area and very likely head to the next line in the sand, which is 380. Let's remove this and let's put 380 there. I don't see it on my daily, on my 4-hour, so I'm going to do 380. Man, I'm moving at the speed of dirt today, I gotta tell you. And we'll create an alert. We'll do a touch. Right, we'll make it a little tight. Yeah, there we go. All right, that's it. We know what to look for on the upside. Let's take a look at the ES. We're right in this zone. I am going to remove the alert. We know where we are. I'm going to remove the ray. They always put it as a ray. And I'm going to move it down because we are in a fight zone. You should know this number if you're trading futures with me. We talk about this 45.54 area like I don't even know how much we do. We talk about it a lot, right? So there it is, doing the same sort of thing. 1, fails to head lower. 2, bounces into resistance. That is 45.68. I'm going to draw a line there. 45.67.25, right? Pulls back. The bounce off of this area, it's got you a long action, right? Because it's higher than this. But where's it going? Probably resistance, right? 367 to, 45.67 to 45.72, big deal. Big deal. All right, let's adjust this alert. Yeah, you know what? I don't like how they adjust those. Let's do that again. And let's make it top of heavy congestion right here for the touch, right? The top of heavy congestion. That's going to be that area, 45.77. Now, let's talk about what happens if it doesn't do that, right? 45.40 to 45.34, and then 45.28. Those are going to be those next lines in the sand as far as I am concerned, right? Those are going to be those edges that we watch. Take a look what's happening this morning. Do you see this? 45.65, big number. It's really 45.67 and some change, right? 45.68. Same thing that we're looking at right around here. Do or die for the buyers. They really want to hang on here, right? Bounce action into the resistance zone. Okay. NQ. Sorry I'm taking so long. This morning, we want to get our numbers right. This is beautiful. What are we looking at right here? Let's bring it in a bit. Old support, new resistance. So again, fails to head lower, tests resistance, pulls back, makes a higher low. This is the new line in the sand on the 4-hour formation, right? We lose this zone. We've got trouble below. So where is that trouble? 15,000. What's the close of this week? Let's use the open of this week. 586. Wow, tremendous low volume node right here. All right, so I'm going to put an alert. This is volume by price. This is holding really strongly. I'm going to draw another line here, and I'm going to put an alert on it because that will be that next line in the sand. All right. These names are just insane. All right, so there we go for us here. We've got a pretty big set of motions sitting in the space. Should we create an alert here? I think so. I think so. Because it's so close, let's use a breakthrough. And there we have it. We're bouncing off of this floor, as we often do, to the upside, 15,864, then 974, which is heavy congestion, right? I always love heavy congestion. And then we get to see what happens when it resolves after leaving that area. Then we know what's going to happen. And then up here at 16,086. Last thing on the horizon, as I spend 100 years talking to us this morning, is what's happening with oil. Now, as you know, I've been on the short oil bandwagon for a long time, much to the disgust of many folks that we talk through these things. Nobody knows where anything's going to go, right? We have a supposition about what price is going to do. Mine is based on contango in the forward months, which means that is bearish for the current months. And that's what we're sitting in right now, okay? So my suspicion, again, is that every bounce, even though it's nice and big, going to be sell zone. So what have those bounces been? Come into 80, amazing short, coming into 80. Now, it's rolling off a cliff, not really sure why, but whatever. I suspect that we're going to see oil around 67. Now, you might be wondering about the undercurrent here, and there are a lot of them, and there are a lot of people a lot smarter and a lot more well-read here in terms of what's happening in the oil environment. I'm just telling you from being the picture book girl that I am and being as simplistic as I can manage to trade well. My suspicion is we are going to see a test of 70 and potentially 67. That's been the call for me. That's what I think. All right, now, where are traders going to try and buy the bounce? Because they are going to try and buy the bounce. My thought is probably going to try and buy it right here. Notice, if you're trading with the trend and you have high, low, lower, high, lower, low, lower, high, lower, low. So you have 3 of them in a row and you go, wow, okay, that's my trend. I'm going to see the first bounce up into this 77 area on the new monthly candlestick, and I am going to short it. Now, where's the first place I'm going to take profit? Well, that'll be right here. Right here, people are going to take profit. Now, you're going to go, why is that, Emery? Well, you know I love heavy congestion, right? Heavy congestion, big, fat, hairy deal right here. And that's really what's going to cause the first group to go, you know what? It's time for me to take some profit. The Keltner band says that there's downward action that could push a great deal forward into the 71 area. But sure as the day is long, people are going to start going, you know what? I need to take some profit right here. I need to take some profit right here. So we should see a little bit of a bounce. All right. That being said, the formations are still telling us, hey, I have high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. If the chart bounces off of this, you could take a long and go, you know what? I'm going to try and take a long right here. How would you do that? You collapse into, 2 minutes, right? And you'd wait for the chart to stop testing a new low. Right? See all the buyers coming in to close their positions out? Those are shorts closing their positions out. Why? Because heavy congestion to the left told them. The May heavy congestion said, you know what? Buyers are going to show up here. And indeed they are. Now, knowing that, you could scalp along. The question is, where would you put your stop? Down there, under 72.15. Remember, one tick, $10. Big, big, big spreads here, right? So, one tick, $10. You could say, hey, I'm going to try and do that. I'm going to scalp it. Where's my target? 72.54, and then heavy congestion. Everything's the same, folks. Totally fractal. Hopefully you got a nice little lesson out of today. I'm excited to trade, and I'll see you all on the platforms. Take care.